While the Philippines and the rest of the world roll out vaccines, one technology company is offering solutions to ensure accountability in tracking the doses. Let's get the views of Andres Ortola, Microsoft Philippines Country Manager. Andres, great to have you with us on the show. First of all, how critical is technology in vaccine distribution?
Good evening, Rico. Thank you for having me, first of all. We think technology is going to be fundamental in the months and years to come. If you think about right now, the world, there is more than 300 million people being vaccinated. That's about 8 million people a day. You can think of a potential 3 years until we get everybody in the world covered with whichever vaccine. The Philippines will probably be on a similar trend. And so we need to think about how technology will enable the next couple of years in how we do business, how we learn, how we do everything around us. So we see a couple of things, and we can talk about it. The first is contact tracing and the ability to the population to be able to detect, to be able to react, to be able to move quickly on every case search. And the second, of course, is vaccine management.
Right. On vaccine management, particularly, Andres, what are the available solutions and how does it work?
So when you look at the vaccination solution, it's a very complex scenario. You need to think about everything that happens from the manufacturing process all the way to the inoculation, going through logistics, international, local logistics, as well as medical centers. All of that has to be completely connected and coordinated to ensure full traceability. There are several solutions in market. We're working with private and public institutions to provide some of those solutions and make sure our customers are actually taking advantage of them.
So if you say it is a very complex process from the manufacturing all the way to the distribution and inoculation, then in the country, the national government, the local government units, and the private sector just have to have one solution for a seamless connection and seamless distribution of these the tens of millions of vaccines that will be arriving in the country and which come in different brands.
Definitely. I think when we see this working really well is when the local governments, central governments, and private sector work together. There is a role for each piece. The central government will play a role of a central data repository, making sure everything is coordinated. The local governments will need to play a role of quick activation, making sure those services, proximity service to the citizens are ready and we are able to act quickly. And then private sector, of course, helping with the vaccination process, making sure we protect the economy, in other words.
And of course, this is the best way moving forward and the most ideal situation. But how is it working here in the Philippines? Who are you working with right now? Andres, are you working with the national government, the LGUs, and the private sector? Are they all integrated? Are they all on the same page?
It is a very fluid scenario right now in front of us. We are working with DICT and Department of Health and DOH, as well as with many LGUs. And the key point here is that what we're trying to do is to make sure whichever solution is chosen by the private or the public institution has to be connected and has to be quickly connected to the central government. Now, the important thing, Rico, to think about is that data connectivity has to flow one way, but it's also important that we create agreements and clear partnerships between all these pieces on when it comes to the next phase, which is the vaccination passport. What's going to happen if I get vaccinated? How do I use that vaccination event to actually reinsert this person in the economy, reinsert this person into even travel nationally or internationally? That will require not only a coordination in a local level, but also coordination at an international level. We're also working with airlines and different governments around the world to try to create a common view, a common ground of what the potential vaccination passport will work for everyone. In that particular case, you can imagine this could be a key item for the Philippines as we look into reopen our hospitality industry back again and put it into motion.
So Andres, can you cite maybe one or two examples of countries, not the Philippines, that are adopting these best practices in terms of vaccine management, which the Philippines could use as a role model when in this situation that we're currently experiencing?
Sure. When you look at in terms of completion and ability to act quickly, within the region, Singapore has taken the lead. But you could think of Israel or even the UAE on how fast they have approached the process. However, at the scale and the complexity of the Philippines landscape, Rico, we can see places like India where the government is trying to follow a similar path. You can see examples like the United States. We went all in with massive vaccinations, coordinated similarly in the local and in the central government.
And I want to ask you about contact tracing. How important is it that we have a contact tracing application rather than hiring contact tracers in different LGUs to trace individuals who have COVID-19? Because it seems like we're currently faced with this challenge right now.
Absolutely. I think it's essential. And we see the attention shifting to vaccination management, which is absolutely right, but we cannot forget this piece. It's important. And I think that the key role here is to restore confidence in public to be able to go out and consume and go to restaurants and things like that. The contact tracing application needs to be not only able to pick up my data, see where I go, but needs to be able to alert me back in real time if I'm getting close to a surge of exposure. So that way we can control and give the people another tool to help us control and maintain the situation under control.
We would like to thank you for joining us on The Final Word and for your insights on vaccine management and contact tracing. Andres Ortola, Microsoft's Country General Manager.